Better late than never. Right? Better late than never. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello. Someone wrote, go to sleep. Oh, really? Get out the chat. Is that grimy that we started off by kicking somebody out? I'm just kidding. I'll invite him back in later. I love you guys, man. I'll wait till we have about 300 people in here and then we'll set it off. Oh, wow. It's taking us some time to get there. I appreciate all the love from everybody in the comments. Hello. Hello. I'm going to wait till we get to 300 or we're not going to start. If we can't get to 300, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to say goodnight early tonight, okay? And you can blame it on the people that didn't show up. There you go. 240. 250. No. Someone wrote dinner time, no phones. Oh, man. You know what? You're right. I'm just going to do it for the people here, but I'm going to be real brief. Disappointing. We couldn't even break 300. Oh, well. Is something wrong with my voice again? Why, is it all slurred? I hate that, yo. It's the fucking phone. I'm going to complain. I'm going to wait a couple of more minutes. Shout to the Milwaukee Nation. Much respect, much love. Okay. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about immigration really quick. Then we'll talk about what's going on in Gaza. Someone wrote, stop smoking. I'm not smoking right now. I actually quit smoking. I don't really drink anymore. Like, I can't say that I have a completely sober lifestyle, but at the same time, I'm actively not participating in that. Yeah, you just need a break once in a while. I tell people who smoke a lot, yeah, you need a break. You need to just give your lungs a break. Oh, do me a favor. Stop asking me about other rappers. Don't do that. Like I don't like that. I don't like when people do that. I'm not anyone's publicist, homie. Don't ask me about other people. You want to ask me something? Ask me about the world. Ask me about Gaza. Ask me about something important. Don't ask me to gossip about other people. Okay? Thank you. Well, we're at 275. So I'm going to start now. Over the past year, we've seen a massive influx of immigrants coming to this country. And they haven't just been the stereotypical image of Mexican people jumping over a border. That racist imagery has now been replaced with conservative Latinos that are blaming liberalism, Democrats, and everything except themselves for the problems and the issues that we have. So let's start with Haiti, okay? In 2004, the United States of America had a coup in Haiti, right? They ousted President Aristide. They got rid of him. This caused a massive influx of Haitian immigrants. Recently, in 2021, the United States, again, using Colombian mercenaries, approximately 28 Colombian mercenaries, murdered the president. When Moise was murdered, we have to have a conversation about what makes Haiti so valuable, right? Now, let's have an honest conversation. Haiti is not a poor country. When I hear supporters of Donald Trump and other conservative idiots say, oh, Haiti's just a shithole country. Haiti has $20 billion in untapped resources from gold, silver, and copper. It also has perhaps one of the largest untapped resources of natural gas in the Western Hemisphere. So they have a massive amount of natural resources that have been untapped. Yuri Faye said, why don't you go there? I did go there. And I don't mean the time I went there with your mother, but I went there in 2010 as well. And when I was there, you know what I mean? We weren't just there to watch your mom dance on a pole. We were there because we actually wanted to do something positive for the people. I went there with an organization called Arms Around Haiti and Hip Hop for Haiti. You know what I mean? We're not like your mom where we go and volunteer to work in a strip club so you can shake your ass for free. We were actually going out there so we could help individual people and make sure that they had food and resources. You know what I mean? However, if you feel like I've been ignoring your mom, I'll give her a call, right? Let me tell you something, Yuri. I don't come to your job and kick the dicks out of your mouth, okay? So why don't you stop coming to my job and trying to make things harder over here? Thank you very much. So it's not a mystery that when you destabilize a country, hundreds of thousands of those people will show up here. So don't be mad at the Haitian immigrants for coming here. Be mad at the United States for destabilizing their country. Also, I know a lot of Haitians that despise the Clinton family. And they have every right to. That does not make them conservatives. That does not make them Republicans. That does not make them Trump supporters. They know that the Clinton family corruptly took tons and tons of money away from the natural and the grassroots organizations that raised millions after the earthquake. So after 2010, right? The Haitian people were the target of an embezzlement by the Clinton family, right? And what's crazy is that when this happened and people don't pay enough attention to it, the Clinton Foundation and several other foundations robbed Haiti blind. And after, when I was there, right? When I was there, what ended up happening was that we did a show with several Haitian artists, along with Wyclef Jean, myself, Core Mega, and Styles P. Right? One of the Haitian artists had a song called Où est les enfants? Où est les enfants? Right? It means, where are the children? Which means that they knew at that time, and no one listened to those people. No one listened to the Haitian people. They were telling people that individuals were stealing children from the rubble, that UN workers were stealing children to be sex trafficked. And people didn't listen to them. And it turned out to be true. Shout out to Black Sands Entertainment. I love what you do. And I think it's so disingenuous for people to be furious at the Haitian people for something that was done to them. On one end, you can't just blame it on them just being the only republic that was founded by the descendants of slaves that fought for their freedom. It's not just that. It's the fact that they're sitting on tons of resources. Just like I'm going to tell you now, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you an honest question, right? Do you think the United States is in Gaza because they want to help those people or because they found trillions of dollars worth of natural gas? Right? Oh, if you don't care, Wesley, then why don't you just leave? Leave the live and go back to fucking your mother. Right? Thank you. So when we talk about this, we have to understand that immigration is not an uncomplex matter. Okay? So I'm going to tell you about something. I got a lot of guys for the people that are against immigration and for the cowards that are too afraid to say that. So they say, oh, we're not against immigration. We're against illegal immigration. And the conservatives, because I know you come here to troll, right? So let me break this down for you. I got people that are my people, right? And they don't have papers that say they're a United States citizen, but they have papers that say they're a United States Marine. I'm going to say that again. I have people that I know personally that they're fighting deportation right now, and they don't have papers that say that they're a United States citizen, but they have papers that say they're a United States Marine, that they served their country in the Army, that they served their country in the Navy and in the Air Force, right? And I'm not in agreement with the wars in Afghanistan. I'm not in agreement with the wars in Iraq. But I think that it's necessary to say that if you fought for this country, right? If you fought for this country, how could you possibly be deported? Even for the people that say, hey, deport them all. It's not that simple, right? You're going to deport Marines? You're going to deport people who were combat veterans in Iraq? Now, even if they weren't there fighting for freedom like we thought they were, they made sure other people in their unit got home alive. They made sure that the people in their unit came home alive. And they may have been fucked up, but it's not fair. So even if you don't like people and you call them illegals or whatever, you're certainly not saying that to the United States Marines, are you? You're not saying that they should be kicked out. That's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. If you want to look those people up, they're called green card veterans. You can see a lot of them. Some of them are Vietnam era soldiers. They fought in Vietnam, which is another war I do not agree with. I don't think we had any right to be in Vietnam. I think that the Vietnamese war was built on lies, on a bedrock of lies. And yet those people that fought in that war are now being deported? Are you out of your fucking mind? And you people are saying, oh, deport them all? How could you be so narrow-minded to think that it's that easy? To think that it's that simple? But deport them all. Okay, let's deport those Marines. Deport all the people that fought for this country. How about this? Do you even know? Do the people that are saying deport them all, do you even know that there are about 20% of our military right now that don't have papers? They're 20% of our military right now, and they don't have any papers. They're fighting as green card veterans. They're not citizens. When they complete their time, they'll be a citizen, and their families will be granted a pathway to citizenship. But that's my fear, ladies and gentlemen. I fear that that's what they want to do. I fear that the reason that they're bringing in immigrants is because this country can't get regular citizens like you and me to sign up for the military anymore. Let me ask you something. How many people in this live want to sign up to fight America's wars? Right? None of you guys. None of you guys want to go. Imagine that. Oh, we're going to draft you all to fight for Israel. What? We're not going. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, we're going to have another war in Iraq and Yemen. You don't want to go. I'm not going. Get the fuck out of here. Look at every single person in the comments, conservative liberal, revolutionary, Christian, Muslim. I don't see one fucking person saying they want to go. Nobody want to go. The fucking trolls in the comments, I'm not going. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I see you too. The fucking trolls, you ain't trying to go. So what are they doing? They're going to make up the 20, 30% of people that they lost. But the only problem is this. Those immigrants have to be told, this country has only had 20 years of peace since the founding of the republic. I'm going to repeat that again. This country has only had 20 years of peace since the founding of the republic. And it hasn't been consistent. So I tell everyone that's trying to immigrate here, and I meet people with no papers, and I say, just be careful. Because when it comes time to sign that piece of paper, they're going to ask you to lay your kid's life on the altar of freedom. To sacrifice your kid's life on the altar of freedom. You're mad at Venezuelans for being here? Okay, but you had a coup in their country in 2002. And in 2020, under Trump, who was a non-interventionist, anti-war president, no, he's not. Liar, idiot. He funded that monstrosity in Yemen that killed 1 million people. He's had plenty of proxy wars. I'm sorry to break your heart. It's like a child that believes in the tooth fairy and you have to admit to them, no, it's me, you little idiot, that's been putting the nickels and dimes under your fucking pillow. Listen, the left-wing Kool-Aid is not nice to drink, but the right-wing Monsanto milk is disgusting too. In 2020, ladies and gentlemen, under the supervision of Donald Trump, and Joe Biden, because this was carried over. This is Biden and Trump, by the way. There was something called Operation Gideon. Do you know what Operation Gideon was? Operation Gideon is when they tried to overthrow Venezuela's government again. So let me ask you a question. If you destabilize a government and you destabilize the entire region of the government, right? How do you not expect people to show up here? This is my thing. How do you expect people not to show up here? You're mad at them, but you haven't said a word about the people that had to leave their job, that lost everything. So it's disgusting that you would see it and just say, oh, okay, yeah, deport them all. Okay, but you overthrew their country, right? Let me ask you something. If there was a country more powerful than America and they had a coup in our country and they made Democrats and Republicans kill each other and there were millions of people that were just getting murdered, raped in the street, wouldn't you leave? I'm out. Everybody that I know with families, they're running away from murder and death. They'll show up somewhere and they say, oh man, it's not our fault. But you overthrew the country, motherfucker. You overthrew the country. And now you act like you're not responsible. Someone asks, we didn't, the government did. Well, that's why the government's paying. And that's what they've successfully done. They've managed to turn new immigrants that are Latino and African Americans against the migrants that are here now. They've been successful in the comment section, right? You guys bought the propaganda. You blame the most simple people to blame. Let me ask you something. If you go in a room, right, for an MMA fight and they say you can fight a lightweight person, you can fight a welterweight, or you can fight Francis Ngannou, right? Who do you want to fight? Who do you want to box? You want to box Mike Tyson in his prime? You want to box Glass Joe from fucking Mike Tyson's Punch-Out? Or do you want to box Joe Biden? Right? It's easy to box Joe Biden. It's easy to go after the softest target in the world. It's easy to go after the immigrants. They're the most defenseless people in the whole conversation. It's harder to go after the companies that hire them. It's harder to go after the governments that have destabilized their union. And let me tell you something. They got you so scared to call these people, right? They tell you, oh, unless you call them an illegal, you're a communist cuck. No. I'm a normal human being that refuses to follow you down a rabbit hole of inhumanity. I won't follow you down the path of moral bankruptcy. They're not illegal people. They're human beings. When you dehumanize people, that's the first step to being able to do anything to them. And also, here's another thing. Deport them all. The Marines, right? We deport them too, fool. Deport the people that are building your buildings. Deport the people that are working in the fields, that make you able to have strawberries and oranges, and deport everybody. Tank the economy. Who's going to do those jobs? Huh? Who's going to do those jobs? 2alto_23. Are you going to do those jobs? Because you look like you're softer than cookie dough. You look like if you sat on a bowling ball that your ass would hit the floor. So why would you say something like that? Deport them all. What the hell is wrong with you? Listen, do you understand that we funded these mercenaries, Colombian mercenaries, coming out of Florida to overthrow a country in Haiti? Are you out of your mind? Every illegal this idiot. This is propaganda. Every illegal immigrant, by definition, has automatic legal defense law, and they have more protections than a citizen. That's a fact. That's not a fact. You're pushing propaganda, and it's right-wing propaganda, and it's ignorance, and it's nonsense. They don't have any rights. They're being kept here because they want their families to sign up for the military. They don't have any rights. They don't have any rights under the Constitution. They're being given this kind of like limbo nonsense because they want them in the military. Again, hold on. The guy that said they're illegals, whatever. Dude, you're signing up to the military? You're signing up. Mark Gibbon, are you signing up to defend this country? Oh, Mark, come on, man. You're not signing up to defend America. You're not going to fight any of America's wars, right? Mark, you're not signing up to fight anybody's wars. No, you're not. Mark, you're a coward. You're not signing up to fight anything. Don't do that. Yeah, okay, he's a troll. I'll take the ring to Mordor. Thank you for proving my point. You see what I mean? You don't want no smoke. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Gaza. Gaza is a modern-day human sacrifice, ladies and gentlemen. I'll argue people all day with this. Gaza is a modern-day human sacrifice, ladies and gentlemen. That is what's going on there. There is a modern-day human sacrifice. But let's put it into perspective. So far, there have been about 30,000 Palestinian people plus that have been killed. Imagine if we had social media in the days of the Iraq War. Imagine if we had social media the way it exists now in the days of the Iraq War. You know what we would have seen? We would have seen way more than 13,000 children be dead, right? And I want to say something else. There is a genocide going on there because you're purposely depriving people of food. For all the people that hate communism, you know what? If you don't think that Native Americans had a genocide, then everybody that Stalin sent to the Gulag, they didn't get genocided. They just got cold. Stalin didn't kill anybody. It's not their fault they didn't have a jacket on the fucking train, right? Maybe your ancestors shouldn't have been so fucking stupid and they should have packed a jacket on the train to the Gulag. Of course, Stalin is responsible for their death. And of course, the European settlers are responsible for the deaths of Native Americans. But we should not be drawn into the idiocy of thinking that it's just Israel that's responsible. It's not just Israel that's responsible, right? It's not just Israel that's responsible, ladies and gentlemen. It's the United States of America that is responsible. The United States of America is 100% responsible for what's going on. They are the one pulling the strings. And I think that when people begin to realize that, when they begin to realize that it's them pulling the strings, that they're the ones that are putting Israelis on the front line of World War III because they don't care what happens to them, as long as it's not American troops. And what are the Americans there to do now? What are the Americans doing in Gaza? They set up a port in Gaza, right? They set up a port in Gaza. Why did the Americans set up a port in Gaza? The empire doesn't do anything for free. Originally, a British natural gas company was going to get the rights to do that, to mine that area. They were going to get 50% for doing all the work. They were going to get 35% to Israel, and they were going to give 15% to the government in Gaza. That was the original deal back when the Levantine Basin was discovered. Now you're talking about 2 trillion cubic meters of natural gas. Okay, and that's the minimal amount. It could be more. You know what that means? That means over $1 trillion in natural gas. And conveniently, the northern part of what Gaza was, which is now flattened, but it's still Gaza, will be set up for what they call the Ben Gurion Canal. I think that people have to understand this. The Americans are coming to Gaza for good. And they know exactly what to do. All they need is a terrorist attack here in this country, and they can justify being there. All they need is a few soldiers of theirs to die at the port, to be attacked by the Palestinian resistance. And then you'll call more Americans there. That's their trick. They'll send troops there, and when more people die, they'll justify sending more troops there until they retrieve the natural gas that they want, and then they'll leave. When they destroy somebody's country and people then show up, they convince you to hate those immigrants, to hate those migrants, rather than your politicians that made billions of dollars putting money in their pocket from these natural resources that they pillaged from the places that they overthrew. Do you understand how it works now? They're not coming here to move America to the left. They all gonna vote Democrat. All these migrants are gonna vote Democrat. No, you don't know nothing about politics. Fucking dummy. No! You think Venezuelans are gonna come here? You think Venezuelans are gonna come here and vote Democrat? They're not. You think Cubans are coming here and voting Democrat? They're not. Come on, Chavo del Ocho. Use your fucking brain. I don't know, bro. I think that a lot of people have been duped. And it's easy to go after the little guy, right? It's a lot harder to go after the big guy. But that's the definition of a coward. It's easy to take the fight with the little guy. It's harder to take the fight with the big man. Because the big man's going to hurt you. Because the big man got resources. Because he got 1 million people with block profiles to come to your page and try to shame you into doing something different, into saying something different. Right, Tony, but I think here's an interesting thing. They don't want socialism. They escaped it and they don't want to go back. But I think that it's also disingenuous, my brother, to think of the Democratic Party as socialist. The Democratic Party is a party of business, Tony. It's a party of business that masquerades like a party of human rights. They don't care about human rights. You and I, Tony Delgado, we both know that the Democratic Party, and especially the Clintons, didn't care about any human rights when they robbed Haiti blind, right? So I think that I see your point. They associate the left in this country with socialism, but it's nowhere near socialism, right? Joe Biden's infrastructure plan, what was it, like 0.1% for infrastructure, 1.4% of his budget was for infrastructure, right? Yeah, that's a real fucking Vladimir Lenin right there. No infrastructure. And it's funny, let me tell you something. I visited Venezuela back in the day when Hugo Chavez was in power. It was a revolutionary conference, and when we went there, people were upset. They said, hey, we don't think that Hugo Chavez is doing the right thing with this money. And these were socialists. They said, we need to build an infrastructure in this country. That way, we could be prepared if Chavez leaves power. And I think that's an important thing to bring up. Listen, we talked about secret societies. We talked about humiliation rituals in all of the last lives. So I'm not going to go too far into that. But I think what's interesting is that we're witnessing that right now. We're witnessing a modern day human sacrifice going on in Gaza. We witnessed a modern day human sacrifice in Iraq. Right? You and me saw it. And let me say something else. They put people in prison for showing us what was going on in Iraq. Isn't that crazy? They put people in prison, but yet they give billions of dollars to the companies that are out here making the bombs that kill Palestinian children, that murdered Afghan children, right? And that's the reason why I always tell people that Trump was not an anti-war president. You can Google something called a Moab, M-O-A-B, the mother of all bombs. He actually started off his presidency by bombing Afghanistan. So while it's true that Mr. Trump didn't start any new wars, he continued all of the ones that Mr. Obama had left on his desk. And that's true. He gave government contractors a blank check. Look, there are some things that Mr. Trump did, a few things that I said, okay, that's cool, that's interesting, that's great. And then there was a lot of things that he did that were terrible. Do you understand how that works? So I think you have to remember the monstrosity in Yemen. Over 1 million people dead there. I think what you also have to recognize is this. We're a very new society. Okay? We're a new society. And the people that control the society, and this is where we get deep, they have a knowledge that we don't have about human beings. They have a knowledge that we don't have about our psychology, about our physical structure, about everything that has to do with us. And we've lost that. You know, it's funny, somebody brought forbidden knowledge up in here. And I appreciate some of the shit that he does and other people like that are putting out this hidden information. But it leads me to ask a deeper question. What are we here for, right? We don't have a purpose as human beings. The pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness, that's what it says that we're here for as Americans. That's not a life mission. That's some shit that you do on the weekend, you dumb motherfucker. The pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. Okay, that's what I'm going to do this weekend. That's not a mission for humanity. That's not a mission for humanity. You know what it would say to have a human mission? We got to get the hell off this planet. This planet is going to blow up soon. We got to get the hell out of here. We're going to colonize Mars. We're going to colonize the other the other planets around us. Is this going to cause us to change our physical structure? Maybe. We don't even know why we're here. You think your purpose is to work that job so you can make imaginary money in an adult video game? You're playing an adult video game. You're making imaginary money that the government prints up and imagines that's supposed to represent units of work, but it doesn't. It's an imaginary fucking number that gives you pretend power. But we still don't have a mission as a human species. You still can't tell me why we're here. Do you understand? It breaks my heart. Because we don't know why we're here. I said the purpose of life is a life with a purpose. Right. What's the purpose? What's the purpose of your life? We're here to love each other. Yeah, that's what you're there to do with your family. But what are you and your family working for? To have more family? To have more babies? You know what happens? You have more babies, you have more family. When you become the grandmother or the grandfather of your family die, your family splinters into a million pieces, right? How many of you know your cousins from your great-great-great-grandfather? None of you. You don't even know who the fuck they are. That's what I mean. Love life. There you go. To find love. As a Muslim, my purpose is to make it into Jannah. That's beautiful too. Someone said the purpose of life is to worship God who gave you life. Well, at least that's a purpose. You see what I mean? At least that one person. We got one person that had a right answer in the whole motherfucker. At least you had one purpose, right? But in the worship of God, we're supposed to hear the word of God. And what is his word? To just live on this planet until we become extinct? Or I send you out to multiply in fruitful numbers? The progressive realization of a worthy ideal. That's a good one too. Cheryl Brown, Technique, you could be an actor. Maybe. But I'd rather write the script. I'd rather write the script than be the actor. Not till we become extinct, but till Jesus comes for us. You know what's crazy? We're right now, Muslims are celebrating Ramadan. Ramadan Kareem to everybody out there who's celebrating Ramadan. And I said this in another live, but I don't think Christians understand how much Muslims respect Jesus. And I'm going to say this again for the people that missed it. Do you know that in the Quran, it says that when the Antichrist, when Shaitan and them come back, that the Mahdi, right, the chosen one, the anointed one, he will fight them, but he will not fight them alone. So this is something interesting that you Christians should learn. Muslims don't believe the Prophet Muhammad comes back to save you. They believe that the Prophet Muhammad is in heaven with Allah. You know what they believe? And before you judge them, Mamadane, don't judge them. You listen to what I have to say before you open your stupid mouth as an ignorant Christian and say something dumb. they believe that Jesus is coming back. In the Quran, they believe that Jesus is coming back to save them. That's true. The Mahdi, they believe that Jesus is coming back. They call him the Prophet Isa, that he's coming back and that he will defeat Shaitan. That's what it says. So you know what's interesting? While Christians are judging them, they have a lot in common with Muslims because you're both waiting on Jesus to come back and fuck up the devil. Yes. Thank you, Fahed. Jesus is Prophet Isa, and he will be the one to come back on the day of judgment and defeat Dajjal. He will defeat Shaitan. So the next time you meet a Muslim and you're a Christian person and you're mad at them because they don't have the same religion, why don't you ask them about the Prophet Isa and say, hey, man, is he coming back? He's the one that defeats the devil, right? So wait a minute. We're waiting on the same person, aren't we? We just believe that he's different. You believe he's the Son of God. We believe that he's an anointed prophet that God chose out of everybody and ascended into heaven. And the Mahdi will be following Jesus because he's the righteous. Yeshua ben Yosef, the righteous. Someone said, not the same Jesus then. Who are you to judge, right? Remember, the greatest sin in the Old Testament is to put yourself on an equal level with God. So be careful when you say that it's not the same person. That's like those people that say that Muslims are worshiping Allah and that's a deity. No, it's not. Listen, to all the religious Latinos, the Latinos that believe in Jesus, before you were forcibly converted to that religion, about 1,000 years before the Spaniards sexually assaulted your great-great-great-great-grandmother, who was an indigenous woman, there were Christians, Arab Christians. And do you know what they called Jesus? Do you know what the Arab Christians called Jesus? They called Jesus the Son of Allah, the Son of God. And they believed that he was the Son of God. And those Arab Christians called him Ibn Allah. Do you understand? Do you understand now? You've been lied to by these right-wing Christian conservatives that tell you Allah is a deity. It's not. According to the Christian Arabs that I know that have worshipped Jesus for 2,000 years, they call him the Son of Allah. Oh, my dear brothers and sisters, let go of your hate. I can feel the conflict within a lot of people. Let go of your hate. Let go of your judgment. You can't do this to other people. You can't allow what's going on in Gaza to happen. Just because so many people thought they were all Muslims. What if I told you that 20% of the people who were living there were Christians? Would that change your mind? It shouldn't. It shouldn't change your mind, because if that's the thing that made you change your mind, then you're not following Jesus. You're not following God. You're only following the conviction of your own vanity. That's what I'm saying. Listen, I got kicked off. I got kicked off TikTok for spitting a verse. Did you know that? That's what I got kicked off TikTok for, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't get kicked off for any hate speech or any nonsense. I got kicked off because I kept cursing in the freestyles that I spit from the Middle Passage. They were actually verses from the Middle Passage. And that's all right, man. Someone wrote, "Can you help me convert?" Listen, I don't convince anybody to change their religion to do anything. That's one thing I won't ever do. I won't ever tell you to believe in one religion. I believe that's something you should find for yourself. But I also don't question people when they convert. You know, I have friends of mine that became Jewish because they had rediscovered that part of their life. Okay? I had people that they found Islam. They took Shahada. I know people that were born again Christians. I never question that. It's not my place to question whether that's sincere or not. So it bothers me when I see people do that. If you see someone that finds Jesus, I think, man, congratulations, man. I hope it helps your life. If I see people that go back to their indigenous, their indigenous religion where they believe in the Great Spirit and they're agnostic, God bless them. If I see people that are lost and they find something to believe in, it's not my place to tell them what they should or shouldn't do. That relationship between the Creator is between you and them. Let me see. I'll take one more question, then I gotta get out of here. One more question. Someone said spit a verse. What an old verse, a new verse? Something you haven't heard in a while? I'm like the birth of baby Muhammad, the movement I started could spar with the hardest, the martyr regarded, the Spartacus hearted. It doesn't matter whose missiles can shoot the farthest when you're a target in an Afghan Teutoburg forest. Of course, that's some old school shit from Angels and Demons. A new verse. See, I got kicked out of here for doing a new verse. I got kicked off of TikTok and I got kicked off this platform for cursing. Did you know that? Oh, wait a minute. Somebody asked me something. If I would come on here and do a couple of songs, like just perform for y'all, do you think I could draw a crowd of like 1,000 people? I'm going to do a live show. I'll do a show all on my own. Yeah, and instead of, if you can't pay to get in the show, all you got to do is you got to drop a gift in here. You could even put 50 cents in there. I wouldn't care. You just got to leave something. You got to leave whatever you want to leave. I wouldn't charge people. I would treat it like a museum. You got to pay whatever you want to pay. You could pay 10 cents if you want to. Or if you wanted to donate, you could give us $20, right? And it all go to the Rebel Army runs. That would be great because then you can write it off on your taxes and it's going to a charity. It's not going to the Immortal Technique buys a pizza and a bag of weed fund. No. I think that's a good idea. I might do that. So the next time I do something, make an announcement. I'm going to be opening up for Bone Thugs and Harmony real soon. They've invited me to do a show with them, a couple of shows actually. So when I do that, I'll definitely have an option for the followers so that if they can't be at the show physically, they can just leave whatever donation. It's up to them. Like I said, I wouldn't force people to put anything in there. I wouldn't say, oh, you got to put $10, $20. No. Hey, if you only got 75 cents, hey, put it in there. It's cool, man. I just appreciate you guys. And so that's what I'll set up, man. Someone wrote, where do I support to buy Technique a bag of Chiba? Yo, I love you guys, man. Thank you for making me laugh, dude. I got some big announcements coming up soon. Let me see. Keep fighting the good fight. I appreciate you. I appreciate you too. Thank you. Oh, man. Someone wrote, what does my hat say? Yeah, the merch is going out this week. I'm sorry about that. We just got set up back again. So remember I told you we moved the warehouse? Yeah, everything just came in. Like Monday. Everything came in yesterday. The one thing that we're running low on that I had to re-up on, that again is now in the mail, is hoodies. So we had to re-up on hoodies. But shirts, vinyls, if you ordered CDs, they're going out this week. Oh, man. Someone said, parece el escudo de Callao. Claro que sí. Yo tengo mi camiseta de la Alianza por aquí y por allá. Yeah, the vinyls are back. I should give away a vinyl on here, right? Someone wrote, would I ever go to Saudi Arabia? There's no country I wouldn't go to, except you know which one, right? And let me just say this, because I want to say this before I get out of here. Don't come on my page pushing some Nazi bullshit, okay? We're not down with Hitler. We don't hate Jewish people here, you dumb motherfucker. Don't try to poison the Palestinian movement. We don't want fucking people like you in there, all right? Our enemy is a political ideology called Zionism. Zionism is a political ideology that was born in Europe as an opposition to European anti-Semitism. And now it's being used to justify the murder and the genocide of children in Gaza. And that's why not calling out Zionism is absolutely inexcusable. But don't you ever come to my page pushing some Nazi garbage. I do not rock with that. And let me tell you something. That makes you easy to deal with, right? Those Zionist people know exactly how to deal with a dumb motherfucker like you, right? So don't come here and try to push me to that garbage. I don't rock with that. And if I lose 50 people in the live over that, that's fine. Because I'm here to free Palestine. I'm not here to be part of your right-wing garbage Nazi movement. Fuck that, okay? We're here because Zionism is being used as a political ideology to disenfranchise the Palestinian people, to ramp up murder and death, and pretend that you're justifying it with that. And it's absolutely disgusting. I will always be, listen, I started out saying free Palestine, right? There was a lot of people, hey man, you got to understand there was a lot of people that did that. Where the fuck are they now? Nah, for real, where the fuck are they at now? It ain't my job to go find them and call them out. It's your job, right? Yeah, fuck, don't even get me started on Mayweather. He's a clown. And Muhammad Ali is the GOAT forever. Come on now. We already know. And let me say something else. Muhammad Ali was America's Spartacus. You know why? Because since the Norman conquest, good God, since Persia and Rome, the government was able to come into your home and says, here's a spear, here's a sword, go fucking fight for your country. You know who stopped that in the United States? No Democrat, not a Republican, right? It was fucking Muhammad Ali, ladies and gentlemen. It was Muhammad Ali. He went and he stood up there and he said, I will never, ever, ever go kill another person. Ain't no Viet Cong ever called me the N-word, right? You're not going to draft poor black people to go murder people in Southeast Asia. And then he said, because Islam is a universal religion, and he said, and you know, you white people shouldn't be going there neither. Why are you sending your kids to die in Vietnam? Muhammad Ali was America's Spartacus because they tried to humiliate him. You remember that? They tried to humiliate Muhammad Ali. And all these people that are pretending that they love him now, they didn't love him then. They called him the N-word. They ripped him to pieces. And look, Mama Renee, you said it best. They come to poor communities, right? But now people don't want to do that no more. Let me ask you something. Like I said in the earlier part of the live, how many of you are waiting to sign up for the United States military so you can go fight some other war in Iraq or Afghanistan? How many of you are going ready to sign up for World War III so you can fight for the corporate interests of this country somewhere in Russia and China? How many of you are there to go fight for Taiwan? How many of you want your kids to die for that? None of you. None of you are signing up for that. Nobody. Nobody here, not even the fucking trolls. Exactly. And that's why they're really bringing immigrants here, so they can fill up that gap of people that, hey, are tired of this. Remember those jobs that you don't want to do? Well, that's one more job that you don't want to do anymore. Ain't nobody rushing to pick up strawberries. Ain't nobody rushing to be the janitor nowhere no more. And guess what? Ain't nobody rushing to fucking fight the Russians. Ain't nobody rushing to go fight them Russians either, motherfucker. Ain't nobody rushing to fight China. But people that come here that have no other choice economically, and they tell them, hey, if you join the military, your mom and your dad and your baby, they get to stay here. Who's not going to take that deal? Let me ask you something. If America collapsed as a country and you had to go somewhere else, and you had a wife and 2 little kids and your mom was there with you, and they said, all right, we're going to fucking deport you unless you sign up to fight for us. Then you would fight, right? You'd be forced to fight. Otherwise, your family goes back into the camp. They could be sexually assaulted, robbed, killed, die of starvation. What are you going to do? You would fight for your family, wouldn't you? You'd say, hey, man, fuck it. Oh, no, work is not an option, dummy. They're not giving you the option to go get a job. They're saying, join this government, join us, and fight for citizenship. That's what they would say. And I know a lot of people would do it. Because you can't go back to whatever country you're from. That shit is over. It collapsed. I just want to say one last thing. Whenever I see something about people doing something for migrants, and I see people in the comments and they say, oh, fuck those people. We need to do something for our veterans. But then when you see the posts about veterans, what do they say? Oh, they fought a war 10 years ago. Fuck that. No. What you need to do is give it to the homeless people in this country. But then look at the posts where they talk about doing things for the homeless people in this country. What do they say? Oh, those people don't want to work. Fuck them. Don't give them nothing. Right? You don't want to give nobody nothing. So it's not that you hate immigrants. It's not that you hate homeless people. You don't like yourself. You can't have empathy for anybody else because you don't like yourself. And let me just say something, and I'm going to end with this. It doesn't matter if you're Latino, indigenous, black, white, Asian. Doesn't matter if you're Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu. Every human being is born with empathy. You know how they say there's natural sin? Well, there's also natural innocence. Every single one of us is born with empathy. Every single one of us, if we saw a little kid drowning, we would jump in and save that kid. And you don't got to be a fucking hero. You don't got to pretend to be a hero in the comments. You know you would do it. You see a little kid drowning in a pool, fuck that. I don't care what he's from. I don't care if it's a Chinese kid, a black kid, a white kid. I'm jumping in the pool to save him. We're born with natural empathy. And I know this for a fact. Something really fucked up has to happen to you for you to stop being empathetic. So my message to you is this. I'm sorry that this fucked up shit happened to you. I'm sorry somebody took something from you that they can never give back. I'm sorry that someone lied and cheated and hurt you. But you're wrong for taking it out on other people. And you're really wrong for taking it out on the people that can't fight back. I love you guys. My name is Immortal Technique. Felipe Andrés Coronel Moreno. Yo nací en el Hospital Militar de Lima. And now I represent Harlem. And people call me Immortal Technique. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you. I pray for you and your families. I hope you get home safe. Peace.